Howdy folks, welcome back to the Homestead. We're in the middle of a huge, by my standard, fence project. Probably not as big as a lot of people who do fencing, but for me, this is a big job. And, basically, most of our fence pastures are not set up for sheep and goats. They're more set up for horses, which is what the previous owners of our farm had. And we're kind of working through our way through everything, getting everything ready for goats. And every one of our fence rows has stuff grown in it. And I mean, every fence has stuff grown up. And the way we're going to treat that is Tordon RTU. This stuff, it's relatively inexpensive and it comes with a handy dandy squirt nozzle on it. But best way that I've found to use that stuff, and again, this is my first time using it, so if you're new to this, do a lot of research on it too. Don't just take my word for it, because that might be a bad idea. But since this is my first time using this stuff, I'm going to treat a few problem areas kind of in my yard before I really start diving into everything out there in the pasture rows. And we've got some kudzu vines. If you treat the stumps of this stuff, treat the stumps of kudzu with the Tordon RTU, it's supposed to work pretty well. It's not, you don't want to spray it all over everything. You're treating a stump or using a hack and squirt method to treat standing stuff. But I've got some stuff in my yard, kind of like this thing here, that we've already cut down, but a lot of trees, and especially the ones that kind of grow up, the nuisance trees, they're really bad about stump sprouting. And that's why it's important to kill the stump after you cut it, or if you have the ability to kill it standing with a hack and squirt method, which we might get into that later, but there's a lot of YouTube videos out there where people use that. But anyway, I've got this stump here. I've got a few others kind of sprinkled around that I want to focus on. Just today, it's we've got a break and it's winter here in Kentucky. I want to get a lot of this stuff treated before everything greens up in the spring, just because it'll be easier to deal with. But today, this is what I've got time for. I'm going to kind of use this as a test run, and gigantic chainsaw here because it's the one that runs. My smaller saw is a pain in the butt to start, so I don't fool with it. We're going to get these stumps cut and start treating them. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. It'll be all right. Let's get after it. We've already cut this stump, but after 30 minutes to an hour after you cut a tree, let's say you just saw it completely off and you've got the stump sitting there open, the stump starts to heal itself, and after about an hour it's kind of healed over to a point where if you apply herbicide after that, it's doesn't do any good, because those open wound, it's an open wound of a tree. It's trying to heal itself and it's kind of scabbed over. So this tree's already been cut, but I'm going to cut it off more flush with the ground. I had to really work on this thing to get it all down, so we're going to cut it off flush with the ground. And anyway, it's a new wound, right? We'll call it a new wound. We'll lop the thing off, treat the fresh cut. We're going to do that with all these. We've done a lot of work on some of these already, but we're going to get them off kind of flush with the ground, kill them. We don't have to worry about them. You only need to treat the about outermost inch, maybe inch and a quarter, inch and a half of a tree stump. That's known as the cambium layer of the tree. That's the part that actually ferries moisture, water up and down the tree trunk. And so you get a big stump, you don't have to coat the whole thing. That would get really expensive. All right, one down, a million to go. glad to have that job done. And, you know, one small step off and there's a bunch of trees left to do because all these fence rows are overgrown. But that's okay. You can only do it one step at a time. I'm happy to have that done, and you know, that's just one less thing I got to worry about and I got to look at this summer once everything greens up. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this and for following along, and hope this sort of thing interests you. If it doesn't, you wouldn't have watched it all the way to this point. So thank y'all. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time, guys.